Page 184, At Last. Again, this piece is in some books and not others. So if it isn't in your particular book, you may find it in another Alfred book. I'm sure it'll be the same arrangement. You just have to adjust the page numbers is all. Now at this point, of course, I don't feel I need to point out rhythms and notes. You should know all that stuff on your own. But we still want to go through the routine of learning a new piece of music. So I'm going to follow that routine. I always do anyway. This is 2 pages long, treble and bass clef. It has a pickup beat, no sharps or flats in the key signature. It's either a C major or A minor. If you look at the end here, it's a 7th chord, but it's C major. It's C major. Right hand first. Let's just check fingerings and things. Pickup beat 4, 4, 1, 2, and that's tied. And then you just lift up. The asterisk there, forget that right now. I'll come back to that. So the second full measure is 1 and 2 and 3 and crossover. That's fine. Then that's tied. Second line is 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and third finger now here. Okay, let's go down to the last line on page 184. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2, and 3, and then thumb. See, this gets back to what I was saying before, where we changed hand positions on repeated notes, so that's all we're doing here. And we thumb again. Let's go over to page 185. It's the last 2 lines. Well, go to the 3rd line down, last measure. And here you have half notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 3. So it's here. Again, repeated notes, we change hand position. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 1, and yeah, thumb comes down, because normally it'd be in this position, that was here. Let's reach down 2. So we can connect all that together. And then the 5/7 chord, and then the other chord that we won't get into, it's a 7th chord. It's a C7 chord. It adds a little dissonance at the end, a little bite. Because at the last measure you could do it that. And just end it on a C chord. But that B in that chord just adds a little twist to it. It's just that left hand, well, let's start here. Broken chords. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 up on 2 and then and. You're playing with the E flat in the other hand. And whether it's 1, 3, 1 or 2, 1, you don't care, play something. If you 3, 1, you gotta use 4 going on and thumb. If it's 2, 1, then you can use 3 going on. Leave that up to you. Now, second line, going from the first measure to the second. You're here on the first measure, going to the second measure, you're here. See, at the beginning when you started it, it was 3rd finger for this. But in here, it's easier if you use 5th, because in here, the 5th is there, I could use 4th. I want to connect it. So it's going to be a 5 and then scrunched down. That's okay. 3rd line down. It's the it's the second ending. A lot of numbers, isn't it? They were here and they want to thumb. If you don't want to be up in here, you can do a 5, 1, 2. That's okay. Because going on, you need a 3, 1. And then I do a 3, 2. And then a 5, 1. Because I don't want to do that. Thumb doesn't have to play all that. Then going on last measure 184, you're here, here, or you can do it 2 if you want to. You gotta have pretty big hands. Otherwise, go ahead and do a 5-1 for the D sharp B, and then 4, because I want to connect it. There. Going up, 1 or 3-1, 3-2, or yeah, 3-2, and then a 5-1. and then come down again. Second line, you don't need the natural sign, it's a natural anyway, but you just had an F sharp, so they're telling you be sure and play a natural here. The bottom, last line, here I do a 5, 2, so I can connect them, and then 5, then a 2, 3, 1, and an octave, C. So kind of work it out so you got an idea of what each hand is doing, and then try putting them together. We just want to get an idea of when we're playing together. So it's like here or here. These notes are together. And as I play this D, I lift up. And then here, these are together. So it's again 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 1, and 2. So I'm just trying to make sure I lift up in the left hand when I'm supposed to. So it's again 1. Okay, here, this is interesting. You have a B natural in the left hand, a B flat in the right hand. They can do that. So this rhythm is all over. Anyway, you go through and put the hands together, and then go back through very carefully and slowly and get rid of the hesitation, so this beat is a steady beat. We want to feel the beat. 1, 2, 3. Regardless of what the hand is doing, we want to feel the beat. Some people bob their heads up and down slightly. They're feeling the beat. Don't bob your head a lot. That gets but you can feel the beat. A little motion's okay. Then once you have that, then as far as the articulation goes, you're pretty much connecting. You can't really connect it to lift up. Just a slight lift. It's like taking a breath. Lift up. I don't agree with their phrasing in here. They've got, if you follow the sentences and the words, then you can phrase it according to those. Or that when you get to a comma or a period or something, then you can lift up. Experiment with it. It may work, it may not work. And one verse might be different from another too, and that's okay, because you can phrase it different based on the verse. Then the dynamics. So that applies to the melody, that's the right hand. If this is moderately soft, this has to be soft or very soft. Keep it in the background. And I suggest you go ahead and put a slight stress on the syncopated notes. Like in that D, because we want to, that's what we expect. But we play it early. So just a little bit of stress, not much, just a little bit. Staying in that area of moderately soft. You can get a little louder and softer after you get to know the piece and start feeling it. It's okay. Then at the bottom of the page, second measure, you go up, go up to here, up to moderately loud. Left hand's still soft. And then go up to loud. Lift up, go back down. Now the left hand can come up a little bit when you get loud, it can come up to, but then in the second measure, come back down. Come back down to soft or very soft. Because the right hand has to be moderately soft again, like you were at the beginning. Then third line down, last measure, you're going to crescendo up again. You can go up to about a moderately loud or so. Here, louder. Now, it's the last line. That's where you're the loudest part. About a moderately loud. Keep the left hand in the background. And the second measure starts moderately loud. It'll die away on its own. Follow the left hand. You can come up a little bit to help you out here, and then get softer. Because if you're soft already, you can't go anywhere. You're already soft. So you might need to come up in the left hand a little bit. And the end it's soft. With a retardando means slow down. And a fermata. Boy, we're busy here. So that last note, you just hang on to it. If I do this with a metronome, I'll hold it for 2 counts instead of 1, that quarter note. Then we get to the slow with feeling. And we need to play in a style, a swing style. That's what the asterisk is about there at the top. You play the 8th notes long short, and there's no notation for it. You feel this. 1 and 2 and 3, and you just feel that. The second full measure, 1 and 2 and 3, 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. It's just all the 8th notes, nothing else, just 8th notes. When I first learn it, I play them straight. I want to make sure I got the rhythm right. And then when I start getting into it and turn it into music, then I do the swing. Now it has first and second endings on page 184. You know how those work, I hope. Otherwise, you need to go back through those lessons again and learn all that stuff. And of course, they've added pedal. Well, this is nice because this is a fairly slow piece, and we could use the overtones. We could also use a little help in connecting things with the hands, because this is not really piano music. It's a solo, a vocal solo, and we'll do the best we can, but it's a nice arrangement. So it's overlapping pedal or syncopated pedal, and I'm going to push the notes down first and then the pedal, and the pedal always lags behind the notes. So at the beginning, it's here, notes first, the pedal, change the pedal after I play the note. After I play that, I'd lift the pedal up. So it's, I disagree. I'm going to lift the pedal up after I play the D. I want to hear the rest in the left hand. So again. And don't pedal this. So I'm going to pedal it so I can hear you have to listen very carefully to the effect the pedal is having to the sound. Now, I'd like to hear the phrasing a little bit too. So it's like third line down on page 184. In the second ending, you're here. I'm going to lift it up on the first beat of that last measure so I can hear the silence in the right hand. I don't really need to pedal that measure. And on the last line, a little bit about pedaling here. If I pedal it this way they're saying, it's this. It blurs it. Ugh. So I'm going to pedal it on the second and fourth beat so I can connect the left hand. So I can connect it anyway, but I'm going to use the pedal. So it's pedal here, lift it up, pedal here, and then lift it up, change. That way I get some of the overtones and I get the connection, the legato, but I don't get the smearing. So again, starting with the second ending here. So I do the last measure of that pace the same way, just pedal the second and fourth beats. If you want to hear the phrasing, you got to lift up with the pedal, or lift the pedal up with the hands. And on the last measure of the first line on page 185, I lift it up on the 8th note. I don't eighth note, because I don't want both of those. So forth. And the rest of it is pretty much pedaled as it's shown. So I just adjust the pedal to get rid of some of the smearing and let me hear the phrasing and so forth. They keep the pedaling pretty simple for you. And I got problems with that. There's really nothing simple about pedaling. If you're going to pedal, let's do it right or just leave it out. You get used to hearing the yuck. And I don't want you to get used to hearing the yuck. I want you to be very critical of the sound for the pedal is doing. And adjust the pedal, experiment with the pedal and adjust it accordingly. You don't have to get overly complicated with it. You don't have to pedal every note. Sometimes you do, but seldom. But still, there's times you can adjust or lift it up to get rid of the smeariness or hear the phrasing or whatever. Please don't copy me. You make it yours. Because I play this multiple times. I'd play it different every time. Anyway, I'd like to play it with you slowly. It's slow anyway. Not going to do any dynamics. We're just going to do the notes and rhythms. I'm going to try and pedal it as I suggested. And we're going to take the repeat. So I'll give us 3 counts because we come in on beat 4. 1, ready, go.